Oh, machine. Cool. This should be rolling. Perfect. I think this should be all good. I think everything is rolling. So, hello guys. Cool. This should be rolling. Sorry, I was picking up my voice. I think this should be all good. This is Eli Block here. First episode of the Racing Podcast. Hello guys. Got Adam Geyer and Brett Geyer. Everything is rolling. I was picking up my voice. Hello guys. I think this should be all good. This is Eli Block here. First episode
Let's shut your computer volume down.
Hello guys. Got Adam Geyer and Brett. Is that off your computer?
Let's shut your computer volume down.
Is that off your computer? Is that on your YouTube?
You're reverbing like Jimi Hendrix in front of his amp.
Is that off your computer? Is that on your YouTube? Wait, Adam, is that your PC?
You're reverbing like Jimi Hendrix in front of his amp.
Hold on. Is that on your YouTube? Wait, Adam, is that your PC?
You're reverbing like Jimi Hendrix in front of his amp.
Hold on. I think it is PG. Wait, Adam, is that your PC?
By the way, he's doing it, streaming at the same time on his phone. Jimi Hendrix in front of his amp.
No, I think it might be
By the way, he's doing it.
PGs. Hold on, let me double check this real quick. Let me get this going. Can you hear me, Adam?
Can you hear me?
BG, yes, I can hear BG. Okay, now let me, if I turn BG's mic back on. BG's. Hold on, let me double check this. BG's mic. Let me get this going. Can
Something
you hear me,
going on
Adam?
with your mic. Can you hear me?
BG, yes, I can hear BG. Okay, now let me, if I turn BG's mic back on. We'll get this figured out. One second. Yeah, it's BG's mic. Let me get this going. Can you
Something
hear me,
going on
Adam?
with your mic.
What did you say, Adam?
Can you hear me?
Huh? Yes, I can hear BG. Okay, now let me, if I turn BG's mic back on. I can hear you now. We'll get this figured out. One second. Yeah, it's BG's
Hit
mic.
pause and live.
Let me get this going. Can you
Something
hear me?
going on.
Yeah, hold on. BG, do you have YouTube open by chance? Huh? Yes, I can hear BG. Okay, now let me, if I turn BG's mic. I can hear you now, because I think that's what's going on.
Hit pause and live.
We'll pull up. Sorry, I have you for a second. BG, do you have YouTube open by chance? Huh?
Hit pause and live.
I can hear you now, because I think that's what's going on.
Hit pause and live.
We'll pull up. Sorry, I have you for a second. BG, let me think of what's happening here, because...
Yeah, it sounds like things are spiraling.
Now you're good, right? Everything's fine now, correct?
Oh, perfect. We'll pull up. Sorry.
Very well.
For a second.
It was.
What'd you do?
Let me think of what's happening.
I was.
here,
I just was killing crickets.
Yeah, it sounds like things are spiraling.
Now you're good,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Fine now, right? Put them in some fucking chocolate. No, I had YouTube open because I didn't know what the fuck you were doing. Whether you were killing crickets.
That's the
He's got me a link
problem.
for YouTube.
Really
He's pushing
bad.
to this cord shit. So we're good now. My bad. No, I had YouTube open because I didn't know
While we're at it,
doing. Whether you were
this is not a child-friendly podcast for now.
That was the only language would likely be the problem. My bad.
Probably.
I had
So,
YouTube open because
as I was saying, we do have the father-son duo, one of many up at Loudon, Adam and Brett Geyer. Adam has been racing since, let's think, what year have you started racing at, Adam?
Technically, I think it was
As I was saying, we do have the
2016.
father-son
Started doing
duo,
track days in
one of
15 and
many
then
up
did
at
16
Loudon.
at Loudon.
Adam and Brett Geyer, and PG. What year did you start? Let's think. What year have you started racing at, Adam?
1990, really.
Technically, I think it was
As I was saying, we do have
2016.
There you go.
Started
Alright,
doing
like,
track days in 15
you know,
and
start
then
off with
did
that.
16 at
PG, what was the first bike you started racing on? PG. What year did you start?
RZ350.
What year did you start racing at, Adam? Alright, so did you race back when it wasn't Loudon, it was, did you ever race out the, what was that track called? Fire.
I did not race. It was brand new. The track was
So
just built
did
in
you race back when it
1990,
was,
and I got up
it
there
wasn't Loudon, it
at,
was,
I think towards the end of the year it was completed, whatever, and so it was the current road course that you know know and ride, that's what I've been riding since 1991. I did not get an opportunity to ride prior to that. I just got my, towards the end of the year, let's call it shit together at the time that it was new. I wished I'd had, but nope, didn't get to it.
Well, and Adam, obviously you started at the same track that we've all been riding. So, as you said before, I know you started off, you did a few rounds of novice, moved up to amateur, and were pretty dominant on 390, battling with, I believe, Gunner, correct? We've all been riding. So,
A couple other names,
as you said before,
Dan Rosado.
started off, you did
He
a
was
few
an
rounds
older
of
guy
novice, moved
that
up to
for a
amateur,
while.
and we're pretty
A couple
dominant
other
on
names
390,
I'm
battling
probably
with,
forgetting,
I believe,
but
Gunner, correct? We've all
it was
been
definitely a
riding.
lighter
So,
class than it is now. Other names for sure, like Dan Rosado.
yeah, and
He
you
was an
moved up
older
to
guy
expert. It took
for a while.
I believe, a few years to kind of get your feet under you, and
Probably
now
forgetting,
you were
but
on the Ducati,
it was definitely a
and now
lighter
you're on
class than
the
it is now.
Monster,
Other
which
names for
the
sure,
first year you
like
kind
Dan
of
Rosado.
tiptoed your way through, but now I think this year, after you've been riding so much motocross and so much other things, you've been kicking it. So what do you think really has helped you push yourself to the point where you're actually up front battling consistently for the wins of lightweight races? After you've been riding so much
Just
motocross
loosening
and
up
so
and
much
not worrying about
other
stuff.
things,
I mean, I think
so what do you think
one of my
really has
bigger
helped you push
downfalls
yourself
as
to
a
the point
rider
where
is usually
you're
being a head
actually
case.
up front battling consistently for the wins of
Just kind
lightweight
of,
races?
I don't know, psyching myself out of stuff and, trying to make sure everything's perfect and it never really should be.
Downfalls as a
Rider is usually being a head case. I think just loosening up and kind of, letting the tire tell you what it's out of stuff and just trying to make sure everything's perfect and it never really should be. But yeah, I don't know. It's definitely just all kind of clicked this past year and it definitely helped a lot for sure. Tell you myself out of stuff and trying to make sure everything's perfect and
Huh?
never a lot really should be.
Still in a loop?
But yeah, I don't know.
How is it
It's
still in a
definitely
loop?
just all kind of clicked this past
What
year
the
and
fuck?
it definitely
Hold up.
helped
Let
a
me check
lot.
YouTube. And
YouTube's messed up. The tube!
still in a loop?
But yeah, I don't know.
How is it still in a loop?
Just all
Hold on. Yo, Dad, did that fix that? Give me half a second. Technical difficulties again. Yo, Dad, that fixed that?
I'm gonna throw another log in the fire.
I guess I would expect Eli's first one to have some hiccups.
Is
Well,
that better now, Dad? I know. I don't think it's echoing now. What are you doing?
This is
Perfect. All right, yeah. I had YouTube
Those
open in the
5
background as well. All right. We're back. I had YouTube open as well.
good move.
Oh my god, dude.
I mean, I can't expect more.
You're running this show, pal.
I can't expect more out of myself. Come on. First time on. Newbie here. So, back to what we're saying. BG, what do you think? You've been dominant for many years. What do you think has been kind of like one of the main aspects that's helped you run up front pretty much all the time?
Naturally, incredibly competitive. No matter anything I do, I was raised with two other brothers, and all we did was fight and compete. So that's all I really know, and everything I do, if it isn't everything I can give it, that I don't bother. But I do like racing, and obviously, to be up front takes a dedication in which many people can't understand. This is, to me, a form of it's a hard addiction, one that provides great friendships, one that provides have heavy excitement, one that provides engineering and building bikes, so to speak, making your own pieces, this or that, and that's just who I am. So it was easy for me to fit into the racing environment when I started.
Yeah, and I know, as we were talking about earlier, you still play hockey, 4 times a week, and that also helps drive your competitive spirit, especially over the winter when we don't have as much riding to do. And I know you used to race hare scrambles, or did you ever not really race them? You just rode woods?
No, we did hare scrambles when like the kids were little. That's how I got them into bikes. It was an ability to go somewhere else other than your own little crappy places that you set up. Even though I've set up some nice places to ride, that you get to go places and compete. And trail riding is different than competition. Competition, there's someone else. There's someone else who's maybe done a better job than you in preparation. There's someone else it's competing. So riding around to me is, I guess, fun, but for me, I much more compete because, well, that's a big part of my makeup. I don't mind riding, but I really like racing. Why? Because you can beat someone. Someone wins and someone loses. And the someone who loses should go back to the drawing board and try to win. And that is just, like I said, that's part of my makeup. So, yeah, I did a lot of hare scramble stuff with the kids. And then it just got so crazy busy. And then Adam started on the 390. And then Riley kind of didn't really want to do it as much and wasn't as interested and didn't take to it as much. So it was, very easy transition to road racing and air scrambles and dirt when you can.
Yep. And I know that's the same exact thing I've always been. When I first started racing, when I was an expert, I would always do all the practice sessions, all the track time I can get. But as I've gotten further into racing, if I don't really, other than this year when I got the 600, when I needed to practice and test on it, I hate practicing. I would always want to just get to the race weekend because the flag drop is nothing. There's nothing like it. There's always, or when the lights go out, there's nothing like it. So, and as you said, it's the competitive spirit, and I know that's how all three of us do. I mean, I don't know, Adam, if you were, especially with your work schedule, if you were to be able to get more practice time, would you like that, or do you not like that practice element? You want to be racing more?
Probably the opposite, honestly. I like riding. Like, honestly, having like a little bit of free bike stuff. It's definitely fun to just kind of cruise around and not race all the time. Because, like, I've got dirt bike and road race seasons where it's just like in the middle of the year, you've done 7 bike races and, 3 road races, and it's June. And, like, you start to get a little bit smoked and you're like, holy shit, this has been a lot of riding. But then, like, I feel like if there's not anything, that you're working on in between the races, for me, I just don't get any faster or don't, make any changes or whatever. Nothing happens because on the race weekend, I don't really want to make too many changes. I want to keep the bike kind of the same way it is and just go. I want all of that to happen on shitty practice days. So, I don't know. I'm different.
Yeah. Would you contribute a lot of your speed this year? Would you contribute that to kind of how much motocross you've been riding this year?
Helped, but I always say it probably helped. But I think the motocross stuff is a little bit better for like back and forth to road racing than the woods was, just because you're sprinting more than you're doing the long hare scramble race that kind of just drones on and you're just trying to survive the course. I think that the motocross stuff translates better into the road race stuff. But I mean, I would say it definitely helped. I don't know if it was the make or break, but
Yeah, seat time is seat time. So
that's what I'm saying. It definitely makes a difference no matter what, as long as you're riding something.
yeah. So I mean, Loudon this year, ever since Loudon went from, I think all three of us have raced Loudon when it was the Loudon Road Race Series instead of Niemer. Do you guys like the change that has happened since it's become Niemer? There's obviously some differences. I mean, obviously the track's going to be the same. Race formats are probably going to be the same. They can't really change the base of that, but they also throw on different events. There's different people on top, like being the referees, being in charge of everything going on. Like, I feel personally, I think the races have gone a little bit smoother over time. Obviously, the first year was kind of a little bit of a struggle, but I personally believe the race has gone a little bit smoother. And what do you guys think about the new change to Niemer?
Adam, let it rip.
I mean, I think that LS was obviously really, really good in its own light, but with certain limits that were definitely getting definitely some limitations that are going away, then some being added now that it's Niemer. Obviously, track owning the series was really, really helpful in some aspects, and then kind of a pain in the ass in others. So, the bathroom cleaning stuff like that, like was nice with the track owning the series. It was definitely like things would just get done because they had such a staff going all the time during the race weekend. Now that it's rented, it's definitely different. They're doing their best to get people in to do, odd jobs like that. But it's definitely like, stuff you take for granted when the track owns your series. But now that it's independent, we definitely have cool stuff going on and, changes to the series that wouldn't have happened with LRRS, no matter how many guys are on the board. Like, it's not going to change. Certain things were staying the same for a lot of years, and there's definitely cool stuff happening, which is it's good for the future for riders. It's only going to drag people to it. So.
Yep. What about you, BG? What are your thoughts?
Well, I've been around a long time. Been a lot of different management teams, but there's still a lot of cornerstone people that have taken care of LRRS running smooth, and then its transition into NEMRR. I couldn't be more pleased with what NEMRR has done. The track ownership of the series, when it was making, we had a lot more entries. When I started, the entries were incredibly high, and I don't know that the competition spirit was any different. I think it still, was pretty high, but a lot more entrants means a lot more money. And then once that started to dry up a little bit, and then it became all of their series that they owned became a problem. This is as I understand it. From a just seeing it in a business perspective, you say, hey, it's not making me really any money. It's a big pain in the ass. Why? Because I have to have this many people on staff. I remember talking to many of the guys that ran the show, from Ted Goddard to the I think our current one, whatever, I call him Fabio because he's like, 40 years old and a marketing whiz or whatever. But he's not really a racer, or in my opinion, or a kind of guy that, maybe a businessman, whatever. But not really a racer. But that's why they became a rental facility. We have to incur those issues, and the current group has really, really stepped it up and made it happen. Grusher is a stud. He really, really has done some great stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's going to take time. But let's face it, look around. In my opinion, it's an unfortunate realization, the sport's dying. Look how many entrants are up there. When I went up there, of course, whatever the cost was, whatever, I blew a shitload of money. But it was very competitive, and there were a lot of people doing it. Now, today's people, children, let's say, or 20s and 30 somethings, they'd rather pretend and get on their computer like we're doing here and play a video game that makes them feel like they're not really competing. Oh, I am with a guy. What? You're not doing anything but sitting on your computer. So that, I think, has affected the amount, and of course it's expensive, and you have to be dedicated and dangerous as hell as well. So there's a lot of those things that tie into it. But as far as Niemer versus LRRS, I'm incredibly pleased, and I think it's on the right track to be, a stronger club in America, and that's what they want. That's what we could all want, and I think they have their hands around how to grow it with maybe some of their classes, which I don't really consider super street, this or that. I'm not a fan, but if they work for them and get people to do and ride and spark up that their excitement to want to do it, then then it works. But that's my general take on it.
Yeah, and I know. I believe you've done the Loudon Classic before, but when it was ran by AMA. So the entries, like as you're saying, how big was the field when you did that?
The field was, what, I have to get the thing out. It had to be They separated the starting lineup was separated into two larger groups by one row. Of course, it was qualifying at 112% of the which is pretty common of the fastest time, but I believe 60 riders total.
So
60,
do you? Oh, good.
60 riders total going into turn one with just this little one row in between them. Talk about crowded. Yeah, but if you qualified well enough, you could be in that front group, but still very, very, very crowded, but hotly contested. That's the factory guys are in town. So
Yeah. So do you believe that the chain for this year's classic, with how much money it is, if it's smart of them to have like a 30, 36 rider field, or do you think they should open it up to like the 60 again?
I think 60 would. You won't be able to. I don't think you're going to get the potential to have 60, even with that prize, the prize numbers as they are. And then with 112% qualifying threshold. So you have to say, okay, do you think there's going to be 60 riders that show up to be? Do you believe that? To me, I think I haven't seen the official press release on how much and what the payout and how far it goes. Now that, of course, would entice people, those guys who are like, you know what, I could finish mid pack, get a couple grand, whatever it is. That's great. I haven't seen that, and
Already
I don't
back.
really. What's that? Yeah, I didn't get that out of me,
Yeah,
Mike.
no. I think your sensitivity. Try to turn it down a little more. But they do. I do have the Niemer payout. They are paying out to the top 30.
All right, well, you have it right in your hands, boy.
I have it right here.
Read that bad boy. Read. Let's talk about that because
Yeah.
that parlays right into the conversation.
So the payout is going to be top 30 all the way back to 30th is $1,000. It's going to be 55 grand, 55, 35, 25, 17, 13, 5, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 5. It's pretty much until it's back to, it's going to be the lowest you'll really get. So like 21st back to 30th is in the 1800 to 1 grand. So you're going to make, quote unquote, you're going to make money back on this race, even if you get 30th.
30th is the last.
If they only let 30 people in, they're paying out 30. Basically, if you qualify and you finish the 25 lap race or 20 lap race or whatever they're doing, you get $1,000.
So let's get back to Eli's question and knowing that information. So let's take that, process it, and say, okay, and think about the old Loudon Classic. 39 laps. 39 laps was a lot of laps. How many laps does this race say, Eli?
25. Yeah.
25. Nice. That's a little bit shorter. So good. But both of you know. How do you feel in your GT race when you got to pass a guy on a bike that's or just much slower? Now, let's say equal bike is fine, but someone that qualified at exactly the limit of 112%. So what the hell is that in time? Let's say the qualifying time is 110.
I think it's 108 was what they were talking about.
It's 108. Okay. Nonetheless, you do the math there, and your closing speeds are just going to be just about what it was for your very clogged up GT race. Let's say GTL. I don't think GT. Maybe GTU is as well. Certainly not GTO, but they are combined. So you're going to have that. It's a short track at 1.6 miles. You can do the cumulative lap times and say, okay, when are they going to start running into them? And now that could be a problem. Well, why? Because lappers can decide races. So, as I think at the National, they were there, and certainly those guys are professionals and got around them, myself being one. But I also, too, thought about it, and I don't think many of the riders today think about it. I knew exactly when the guys in the lead, Matt Mladen, was going to pass him. He's going to be on lap 17, 18, or what? All I did was do the simple math. But nonetheless, imagine me and four guys going after it, and he's got to get through. There are certainly some issues there with the very short track and spreading guys out, and then the overall quantity that you put on the course. I'm sure John has thought of that, but with the 108 threshold, and
Cut
then
it to
only 30 paying, that the 108 threshold helps it a little bit. So it says you're going to have to be faster. If you have more guys show up that are competitive, they're going to be a much tighter range between each racer. Okay, that's good too. What's that mean? That means that the majority of them are running at a very good speed, and at 25 laps, you may only see the tail end of it getting lapped. So I believe that what they have as a plan there could work. 60 riders, I really find it hard to believe. Loudon is a very, very tough place to race, and people that come from out of town, you guys should know by your suspension setups over the years. I can tell you that you go anywhere else, and all you're doing is unscrewing everything. You're going, wow, I don't need this thing to be this tight. Why? The transitions, the bumps, and it's a lot of work. But I'm sure we'll see some top guys and top racers figure out how to get it done at any place. But 60 guys, I would be very surprised, because if you're only paying the 30, imagine the investment. You live in Wisconsin, you're a decent rider. You're like, you know what, I'd like to go down there. The cost to get there, the tires to spend, the what. So 30, a full grid there, okay. Because club racers are smart about money. They get it. They're like, what? I'm not going to go if I think, my time could be here. They should self-assess. It will be interesting to see. I'm not say I'll be right or wrong, but man, it sure would be cool to see 60 people going after it. But with a 108 threshold, you're only going to get.
It's just traffic in Boston, dude. That's just like going to the airport. Going into one, you're like.
I have to look back, but I have to look back. But do you guys remember the round that Jersey came up to our track?
Yeah.
I think the GTL had close to 45, 50 people.
Sure.
And that was a shit show. And that was obviously, you had all these people on 400s, 300s that have never been to Loudon, that didn't show up for Friday, coming out and just absolutely being what? I mean, they were running what? Low, high 20s?
Yeah, but the difference speed between a fast bike and the slowest 400 in GT is obviously, I would hope, going to be a lot different than 108%, like the classic. Yeah. So hopefully the times are a little bit closer together in the classic this year, so that people aren't completely running into each other all for the whole race. But I mean, I guess you never really.
But a 108 threshold, right? That would, doing that math would say that it will be much tighter. And if you get guys that are capable are very capable riders, they may learn the track pretty well to get into that group, and then only being 25 laps. For me, that's like, okay, I'm thinking about it here as we're talking about it. I'm going, well, 25 laps, that's a good run. You might not run into the backup at what we just spoke of, at 108 threshold. Cool. But you're banking all of this on one race. And I was just thinking World Superbike format. 2 races, baby. Split up your stuff, or make your pot to be paid out for the final of your 2 races, like World Superbike does. You might get more bang for your buck there. You might, I don't know, just toying with that, because I know that the lap count, if you shrink that and keep your low threshold, you'll have less of an issue of back markers, so to speak, causing any strife in your race, which is what you do not want. So yeah, that to me, that's their plan. I hope it works, but okay, that's really a one and done. Let's go, and it's over. Wow, that's happens really quick. A national weekend was all weekend. Now you have our club races to support it around it. Maybe they'll do some other cool stuff as well. A cool, sick super motard race with the dirt like we did it a couple years ago. Bring it on, bro. That'd be cool. But you don't have the support stuff other than just our regular club races, which might be elevated too, due to I'm going up there to compete. Well, I'll take one of my buddies who's got a lightweight bike, and one of my buddies who's got an open bike. Who knows?
Yeah, I know there are 4 payout classes. They will be twins, 400, and they haven't decided that class. I heard hooligans was going to be an option because that's also going to bring in some money. They were toying around with baggers, but I don't think baggers around Loudon would work.
I mean, you might be able to get the Dynas around Loudon, but I don't know about the baggers. Well, I mean, I was talking with Kels about this the other day. It's like, we seen a rule layout for the classic at all, or
So I have heard the moto, what is called. So I think the rules for the classic itself is going to be a Moto America rule for the newer bikes, and then middleweight Grand Prix rules for the older generation bikes. So you are allowed to build the crap out of these things. The R6, you're allowed to go 2 mil overbore. You're allowed to do all that crazy shit to get that 150 horsepower that the V2 has out of the box.
See,
Or
so
140.
another huge problem, Eli. When you look at this as a whole, I love the hype of it. I love the enthusiasm. I love all of it. But the logistics, we just spoke of the 108, how many guys on the course, the potential for what? There's a lot of stuff to work through. And I know John and his group of guys and whoever he's having help him, Woody and everybody else, have figured that out or discussed it. But I'm not aware of it. Whatever, I'm a little uninformed. I don't really pay too much attention to what goes on. And it's really not my class. But, um, you know, there's still a lot of stuff to figure out. What classes are the other stuff that's paying? Okay, that's cool.
and then is the twins getting around the Moto America rules? Because then in that situation, your bike fits, but mine doesn't.
Yeah.
The rules are going to be a huge problem. And if that isn't like really solidified well, if you've ever gone to Daytona, you go there and they have rules, sure, but they come with a loaded gun they're not coming to a gunfight with a knife, so to speak.
Yeah.
So I'm concerned about that as guys like who have just good R6 or what. You got to build the thing all to the hilt. You can still go fast, I'm sure, and horsepower doesn't always do it. You got to ride it. You know that as well as anyone, Eli. From the dirt bike stuff, you're like, what? I don't have squat, but I'm going to ride it real hard. Okay, but keeping the rules good, and yeah, I'm going to show up with a 959. I can do that. I can go to Jesse's shop, score a 959, and run on this bad boy. I don't know. It seems kind of unfair to me, but whatever. It is what it is. But you'd hate that to be, I don't know, a black eye on it. So I'm sure John has thought about that as well. And how do you enforce these rules?
I just we were talking about I was thinking about it. I'm like, wait, I don't know. I don't think I have seen any actual rules for it. Oh, hi.
Hey!
Hey, you're standing upright. Look at you. You look good.
Back from the dead. I only died for
So that's good.
it's this dude. It's like a little bit, So while we're at it, I am going. They're actually wondering what our lap time predictions will be for the classic.
What's going to have to be tens?
People chat.
I've been out there doing math. If someone does a 111 flat, 116 is your cutoff at 108.
What is the cutoff again? Say it again.
116, so a 16.6 second lap time is your cutoff.
Ooh,
well, that's not as bad as I expected.
I
thought it was good.
Bro.
I mean,
if someone does an 11 flat. If someone does a 10 flat, you're at 15.8 is your cutoff.
And that tightens it up quite a bit.
Correct. That's fast.
Yeah.
So if somebody can come in and be dominant.
Differentiation of speed and being on the course and being able to pass that. That really is your issue, right? And you say, okay, well, guy's doing a 15 and I'm doing a 10 or an 11 or awfully close to there. A 15 is pretty quick. I mean, he's going to have to be in the right places. Okay. Maybe not as bad as I anticipated it in the beginning, as I did compare it to a GTL race, which the differentiation is in much, much different. At 30 to call it a 15. That's 15 seconds. So maybe 5 here is reasonable.
But you're still get the pileups. What happens if you get an 11-11A situation? There's 4 guys in front of you, and you got a group of 10 leaders. That's going to get ugly quick.
It could, yes.
Especially for that amount of money. 100% get ugly.
I can imagine.
Wait to show up and everybody keeps talking about that. Well, what happens if the guys over here, dude, 50 grand? People move for 50 grand, you know?
People move easily.
Yes, my guess is that the aggressive nature of riding will be a lot like Superbike National. The boys in the Superbike National, they go for it.
To these guys on the track.
Yeah, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah,
that way with no money on the board.
Even for the 55 grand I was talking about. There's also a 10 grand, so it's 240,000 for the top 30. So then there's a 10 grand set aside for the locals only. So highest placed local, top 3 get 5,000, 2,500, then 50 on top of it.
Yeah, see, that's where that guy Josh Dyer was not, I think, like, informed. Because, like, you know, last week I was on that other show thing, and he was talking about how, you know, it was like a slap in the face to some of the experts, and I don't think it is. Because I knew that there was some sort of, but I couldn't pull it out of the top of my head last week when I was on that. So I was like, well, but I think that, you know, having that extra money aside is the not slap in the face.
Well, and also true, Eli, they haven't pronounced or they haven't come up with the numbers yet for the 400 race, the twins race, the bagger race, or they haven't come up with anything else right now and give it on. He's been trying to get the 100th Loudon Classic. That's what we're worried about right now. So he's been putting that together. And let's face it, guys, we still have 6 months till the Classic, and he's just... So we only have news about one part of it so far. It's the big part. That's who's... You got to get your sponsors ready for that stuff. You know what I mean? Someone had to come up with $250,000. You know, it wasn't for the other 4 races. It's for this race. So, you know, I think that's the thing John's been working really hard at. And then, like I said, he hasn't... I don't think we've heard anything, have we?
No, and in all honesty, when they talk about, like, why is there not novice purse and amateur purse, like, in all honesty, we're bringing it back to what the National used to be. If you want to race the National, then got to be fast enough to race the National. No one's going to give you a participation trophy anymore. That's what racing's all about. Racing's about, if you're fast enough, then you're fast enough.
About that, I just mean, I just mean on the level of, you know, this whole race being a negative. It's definitely not. So no. I definitely see it as a positive for the track, whether it works out or whether it's a disaster. It should still bring some heads there, even if, you know, even if it's not all of the people that we're expecting.
And even for local, what they're considering a local, I think 3 rounds of last year,
3 rounds of last year,
and the 2 beginning rounds of this year. So if you didn't compete in 3 rounds last year, you're not a quote unquote local. Right. You know, someone who showed up and did 1 race last year, like if someone did the Classic last year, that doesn't count this year.
Like Narbone's not a local.
Technically, he's not a local rider, so he doesn't fit. It's actually a good point. As local as he is.
Right, exactly. It's not about where you live. It's about how did you participate. You know?
How have you supported this series? How have you made this into what it is now? Not show up and take money every year. And not saying Shane does that. Shane does it every year. He's fast enough. He doesn't have.
We love you, Shane.
We love you, Shane. But, you know, he just shows up, drops, goes. You know, he just comes here to get his trophy. He sends me photos every once in a while of his trophy shelf just to let me know. And, you know, then he leaves. And he comes, runs Supermoto a few times a year and does what he has to do. But it's making it so there's people not like that. Like, Sweeney's not going to be a local.
No.
A local.
Yeah. You see that stuff for sure. I didn't even realize that they had put out a rule for the local thing.
And once again, maybe it's because, like I said, I try to keep in touch with Grush, you know, weekly or so. Just, hey, what's up? How's he doing? And, you know, the man's insane. So let's have one career here that's completely weather related. And by the way, let's have another one of the summer that's completely weather related. He's not so smart.
Weather related stuff, but hey, good job.
But it's also I don't know. I think it's just going to add. Hopefully, it brings people to Loudon. Hopefully, it fills those stands. Not fills them, but hopefully, it brings people to it.
Well, don't forget, Eli, motorcycling in America.
Yeah.
They don't jump for it. They barely jump. Now you did some of your national runs there of year before last. And tell me about the attendance that you saw and those races that you did. A Superbike National get a few people, here, there, depending on the track. But at Loudon, I wonder. I'd have to look up what the best attendance was. I believe I had watched it a few times when Doug Chandler won.
Yep.
Once we had some, and the weather's good. Another problem that can really really screw shit up. But obviously in June you have your best chance, certainly. But to fill those stands is, I'm not even sure NASCAR can do it anymore. That's why they only got one event. But to get 30,000, that would be absolutely the best case scenario. 20. Okay, I'd still like 20. That's still a lot. May not even be enough. You know why? Because you don't have a factory truck showing up, and you don't have back in the day, those riders there giving you a free poster when you come in. Hey, I'm the Bostrom Brothers. Sign it. Is a big part of it. A big part of it for fans showing up. Hey man, I like bikes. I'm gonna take my 5-year-old kid out, and he's gonna meet E-Boss and B-Boss, and they're gonna sign a cool bike thing for him. You're not gonna have that, right? So part of that crowd came for that. Right, the walk through the pits, the factory bike. Think I want to walk through and see some guys R6? I love you guys, and I love your R6. Yeah, great. So that's part of it that you're not going to get. So I think that the dream of a lot of people, probably not.
There are factory teams already signed up for it.
What are these factory teams you speak of? Who?
M4, Ducati, Graves Yamaha wants to bring both their guys. This is all hearsay, but from
they signed up, but there's no
sources from Ducati Rep of America that says that Ducati's showing up, M4 wants to show up, all the riders are showing up. They're trying to show up the round before so they can get the track in.
They can't do the round before.
They can't do the round before. They're able to get May, not April.
Brett, if people come there, they will see Eli and Eric screaming at each other. There'll be a whole bunch of swearing going on. It'll be mayhem in the pits, bro. Way better than a pro pit.
Actually,
maybe
watching you on the straightaway, Eric, is
just watch me.
Something that nobody has to see in life.
Oh yeah, if we have a pit going on, that'll even be more insanity.
Yeah, if they were to broadcast it on TV, because I know they were working on trying to get a broadcast going.
Oh, can you imagine that? The spandex I'm going to be wearing and the throw up I'm going to be carrying around with me, it'd be unbelievable.
Sounds good.
I'm going to be finding a new mechanic for 23, but...
Sure. Well, this one's, exactly.
Yeah.
Fellas, I just wanted to stop in and say what's up and hope everybody's doing well. BG, you look good. Adam, you're always beautiful. I want everybody to see. Look behind you. That's Adam's new rig, man. Look at the house.
Oh, yeah. Yay.
Hey, come on, man. That's only bills.
Yep.
Be good, bro. Guys, have a go.
Later.
See ya.
There's your special guest.
I'm back.
Sick.
Special guest of the evening.
You have any questions from any clowns, Eli? Is anyone typing in crap here or what? Or are we alone just yakking?
No, we did have some questions about the cutoff and what our predictions of the lap times will be for the Classic. So, I mean, realistically, I think for qualifying, it'll probably be into the mid to probably 10.3 to 10.5 range.
That's
for top. It's fast, but is it possible? Yeah.
Sure it is.
So, I mean, personally,
we'll see how those look in April.
Yeah.
But those patches are deteriorating, so I am curious to see if that will come into play.
They are fixing turn 12.
Again?
Yeah, they're flattening out the bump.
That'll be cool.
They're gonna do what they're gonna do, and you know,
10.
it was better. No, it wasn't better. 10 was better, but 12 was
it's
worse this year.
deteriorating. The outside line is complete chatterbox.
Yeah, no. When I did it on the Motard this year, the first round I couldn't, my line that I was almost in the grass. There was half an inch drop off the right. If you're going on the track on the left side, there's a half an inch drop off that curve, off the pavement to the off the patch of the pavement. So I would take off. So hopefully turn 12 they just flatten the bump because there is a big kick now after they fixed it. There is a gnarly kick.
Great. Let's talk about the track. That's an excellent discussion point.
All right, let's bring it up.
Okay.
Walked it this year.
You mentioned spots of the track. The track is, what are we talking, 31 years old now? What did I say, 1991 was new in 1990. You're going to be in 2023. That's old. Adam, do you recall I lost my gas cap and we took a walk around this course last year? It had been quite a while since I walked around it because, well, I'm not much of a walker. We walked all the way around it looking for this dumbass gas cap that I however, made fall out. But when you walk this course, you can really see how hammered the track is. Now, some of it doesn't affect you at speed. Coming out of 2, there's these huge cracks. They're going to be like solid 2 inches where the pavement has separated over 30 years. Right? What's that do when it's separated? It takes in this nice freezing rain we're having now and then heaves up. Frost heaves. The same crap that occurs on your roads. So the course is certainly, it's aged. Fix the little spots, great, but you still have quite the rough course. We're used to it. This is an advantage to the numb that the local is. We're numb to many things. Numb to very close proximity to. Man, my head, I come down, depending on where they put that turn 10 air thing, I'll clip that sucker with my head, shoulder, and we're just like, yeah, no big deal. And I think people from out of town may be a bit taken back of that. And then what the course and how pounded it is for them should be quite the challenge. And no matter what they do for fixes, that will be really cool.
Yeah, this year, turn 10, they pushed the turtle bump over a little more, but they also brought out the air fence, so it's on the edge of the apex. So I think I still have it. My tear off from the last race of from the last dash. I was behind Scotty. He clipped it with the shoulder, and the thing smacked me across the visor and ripped my tear off in half. That happened, and then it happened in front of you, I believe. In the Motard, it moved over a little bit, and I hit the air fence from my front fender over, and it completely barreled into the air fence. But that's just something we're used to. That going, there's nothing really kind of like that other than just kind of going over curbs, like, and having to trust it. Just like you can trust it at other tracks because you know there's going to be that grip, but when you're going through turn 1 or 1A and you look and you see that it goes off camber, or would it be off or on?
It would be off camber.
Off.
The track falls away from you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's just the fact where all these guys coming in, they're going to have to trust this track that we, as you said, have been riding for me, 5 years, and that's a lot of time and a lot of laps to turn around.
Yeah. Imagine the spots too, Eli. So talk about your spots. I've been around a long time at this place. All right, and it's changed. It's due to safety, Old Man Wood, and then Eric as well. Keeping the course the same, but changing entries, exits to make you not point directly at objects being either walls, whatever, that we numb ourselves to, which is what it is. And they've done a great job with that. And then the application of air fences everywhere, that's fantastic as well and was great. But imagine being from out of town and you're coming up, you got to do a 110 lap time. And let's say you're capable. You're a good rider. You're capable. You got that kick-ass Ducati, whatever it is, 959. She's a ripper. Coming out of turn two, you really want to run that lap time. You got to run it right up against that wall. I mean, like, I've scraped a superbike I rode years ago, New England Performance Superbike, going up out of 12, right against the wall, scraping my lever on the wall on the handlebar end. That's the kind of close proximity and gnarly nature that is Loudon, and that will give an advantage to us numb locals to that, because we just don't necessarily see it. It's become the norm. That guy from out of town, right? It's tough running up against turn two in that wall, and then going down into three. You're hammering down into three. Imagine doing a 110 lap time. No, it's just that brick wall of air fences. Oh, but now I got to turn. I get it to turn to the right, and I'm like, oh, look at all these gator bumps and crap that's in here. One little square block, I got to be just on the inside of it. And then what am I directly pointing at there? The corner, the one left piece that's there for the transition to go up 10 and down. There's like that one piece of cement that's still like a wall that isn't, because, well, and then they have to have air fence there too. So a lot of that stuff going down into the bowl. I mean, that's an aggressive turn, going hammering straight down that bad boy. So yeah, I think there's a lot of challenges of the course and the dangers of it that may slow down some guys that are like, whoa, 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 what am I doing? Okay, $55,000 is a lot of money to win, but it will be interesting to see how they deal with that. Imagine a Jersey guy; he's used to high speed. Oh boy, look at this tiny little bull ring. That was always the stigma of Loudon, and it hasn't changed because that course hasn't changed.
Yeah, and then in the chat we have a question. So, what are your guys' favorite corners?
What do you think?
Adam, go ahead. Adam, you can go first, or whoever wants to go first.
We'll go with first favorite and then least favorite. Give this guy some extra.
Okay, extras. I'll go even deeper and tell them on each bike.
I would say it's my favorite's probably 9. I don't know why. I always liked 9. I know tell me that that's not a good idea because he doesn't like 9 for his losing of the brake lever last time. But I would say 9. I like just cruising around that corner. It's a disaster. The front end shakes quite a bit, and then you just got to kind of straighten it out. I like that corner, but I don't know. I don't know about my least favorite. I think there's quite a few I really like, but I don't know about the least favorite. I can't really narrow it down to one I hate the most.
Okay, I got it. I think I'm a turn 1 guy, as you really rip down in there, and I like that. And so I've always been a turn one fan. I do appreciate 9 as well, but I'd say 1's probably my favorite because you're at the highest amount of speed, and then you slow it up a little bit, as much as you can to turn into turn 1. And my least favorite would be 3. 3 has been driving me bananas for a million years. I don't think I've ever gotten 3 right in all the years I've ridden. Sometimes I just think, wow, I don't feel like I did that right. I don't feel like I did that right. And it's one of my largest challenges over 30 some odd years, turn 3. So yeah, those are my numbers.
I think I've always been a turn 11 guy. I've always been really, really good on the turn 11. Other than that one time I tried passing BG on the inside, that didn't work out so well. But
You shut the door on you.
I was sliding it in the grass. But on the motard, I've always made my passes in turn 11 on the outside. I've just found the line that you have to connect the dots. It's just like playing connect the dots. You got to connect that one out. You got to be out in the rumbles, and you got to connect it to the perfect T point when you cross over into that newer years ago patch to get onto the curb over. It's just you got to flow, and it's one corner you can actually make into one full corner instead of turn 3, turn 4. You have to make it into 2 corner, double apex it, and even 2, you got to make that first input, then the big input at the end. So I've always been a fan of turn 11, and turn 1 as well. Turn 1, especially off starts, I've had to learn over my years to make a lot of passes on the outside. Least favorite corner, um, I don't know. I could say turn 3. I've been struggling a lot on the 600 in turn 3. Scotty G is so good through turn 3, so it's really hard that turn 3-4. It's really hard to say that you're doing good when you're getting gapped by 5 bike lengths every single lap coming out of it. But yeah, it's getting the timing down. You have 5 feet to get your initial input, your biggest turning input in, and if you miss it, then you're going to East Jabru. So it's also it's Loudon has its own characteristics, which is what makes it so special, and that comes with just how good of racing we can have. Are we going to be able to have good racing at Loudon? Or will it turn into a big train? Who's going to follow who? Because you're not going to have people wanting to be side by side coming into turn 3 and then have some guy 6 bikes back dive under to just maybe make a Hail Mary to get in front of the pack. So I've been trying to figure out, like, will we have that opportunity to see that that big pack spread out into 4 or 5 wide like you can see at Jersey, Road America? Or will we have that train effect? Whoever gets a good start and whoever can hold that pace up front is going to be the leader.
Oh, you'll have methodical passing for sure. All you have to do is watch your videos of your superbike that's been there. Very simple. Those guys will go. They'll run their really good lap times, and they'll run in their train. And when you get a chance to braking pass, obviously you have them 3-1. There's so many braking pass spots that they'll better riders and at all much closer in lap speed. That's what you'll end up with. That's just the characteristic of Loudon. And all the superbike races were like that. They certainly had multiple groups of spread out as well. Sometimes you would have a leader take off and make it happen. Sometimes you could have a couple of guys, then another gaggle of 4. Maybe, I totally agree that you likely. I don't see you having 4 or 5 wide in many places because that's just not quick. But when that much money's up block passes, and I don't care, I'm going to go. We've all been in racing and had situations where someone takes some real estate away from you, and it isn't ideal for them for a lap time, but it's more of a chess game and blocking of you. So I can't take that potential out of the equation to say, wow, it could just be an incredible blocking fest. And slow themselves down too, which would then tighten up the pack even more. So yeah, you don't know what you're going to get until you do it, I guess.
No, and also another question was brought up, which is another good point I was going to bring up. Do you see a lot of yellow/red flags in the Classic? Oof. I predict that there's going to be 3 red flags.
It wouldn't be a bad prediction.
So, and the red flag rule is going to be the most important thing you got to know. Can we change tires? Can we fill up with gas? So I know the rule. I don't even think anyone's going to really watch this that races Moto America. You're going to be allowed to change tires. So I will have 3 sets of tires waiting on the pit just in case.
Of course, and that's what a national type program you have to be ready for that. Yeah, that'll be interesting as well. How that amount of racers, how it's handled, how flagging, all of it. Yeah, rules, flagging, so yeah, that's what makes it interesting.
Yeah, I feel like they're going to have to go through like a full debrief for this. If you're going to race the Classic, you're going to need a full debrief of everything that's going to go on, because I feel like there's going to be, it's sure you're going to have the yellow flag, you're going to have standing yellows, you're going to have waving yellows, you're going to have it's just going to be, you're going to need a debrief of everything that's going on for rules. So because this is such a big level that if you do make a pass under a yellow, do you have to worry about making it, or are you going to lose 3 spots and get docked because there's a different rule? Something like that.
Those rules should be the same. Flagging is pretty general to all CCS stuff, and that's been the same for a reason. Passing on waving yellows and stationary yellows. When you look in any one of the rule books, it's consistent throughout it all. So I don't see the flagging side of things. What I see, it being busy and active and potential, like you said, three red flags, 3 stoppages, 3 starts again on a clutch, and that just adds more to the pool of uncertainty, which makes it that much even more interesting, and having to have a little luck on your side as well. Imagine them all. You see them go into a middleweight GP. You've been in it. Many guys that are reasonably close together in time going in for that same piece of real estate. So yeah, it's going to be busy.
Yeah, very. It's going to be interesting. I'm excited to see it, but I know for sure there's going to be no fuel rule like how we have it now.
I'm sure there'll be everything.
Yeah, everything's going to be coming out. Everyone's going to bring out whatever they have. I mean, people are going to be building some crazy engines, and as you said, Loudon's not a super power track. If you really look at the lap or the track record differences, if you have the track record's a 10.4 on the Ducati, what is it? The which one was it? Which one did Eric do it on? The 9.5? No,
848.
8.48. He did that. Oh, so was that the middleweight
He was
record?
running middleweight on an 848 and running well. I'm pretty sure that's around what those are the top times for those top riders. But yeah, rules, power. You telling me that if I told you could have 135 horsepower R6, you wouldn't think it would help you? I know. I'm old and lazy. I know that would help me. Why? Because I'm going to block your ass and I'm going to take off, and you take your 110 horse shitbox R6 and I'm going to laugh at you because I'm going to go, oh yeah, you can ride better than me. That's cool. But guess what? I just pulled 4 lengths on you, up and over 3, 4 down into the bowl. Fine, catch it back up. The accordion now is on you, and you're behind in the accordion. Mm-hmm. So that will have an impact.
I mean, I know for sure I'm not to the point financially where I can build an engine just for that one weekend. So I'm building an engine this year for reliability. So I'm going to not be pushing out that crazy horsepower where some of these, say, factory teams show up, they're able to do. But that also comes down to the knowledge, and, knowledge over power. They obviously can race and they're going to be really fast, but you never know. And as I say, everyone's starting to throw out their guesses and their bets, but I will believe that we'll find out who's fast after the first practice session. That's really what we're gonna know, because no one's gonna know until you can all make these guesses. You can make all of these predictions, but you'll know the times. You'll know the who's fast, who's not after that first practice, first qualifying session.
Yeah, first qualifier. That's when you'll know. Before that, trying figuring stuff out, guys that aren't from around there or guys who have been and haven't revisited in a long time.
And another curveball would be Loudon rain. If it were to rain, how would that mix everything up? That I feel like there would be a lot more red flags than 3.
Yeah, I wonder if you could ever complete it. But there's the whole back into our conversation prior, or my thought at least, to say, wow, you're now banking all of that money on one race. Mm-hmm. Right now, yeah, you're saying you're going to spread some of it out or what, and I like the big hype of the prize thing, but yeah, I really like the World Superbike thing, making 215s, or one day and then the next. You really want to spread out this a little bit, or maybe they're just saying no, make it one deal, big deal, and hype it up to one thing, and then it's over. Okay, everybody go home. Are
Yeah,
you
it's either gonna.
crying? Yep, there's only so many people that are happy. The rest are crying. Cool.
Yeah, those top three are going to be really happy. They're going to be crying tears of joy, and the other however many 27 are going to be. I mean, they're still going to be pretty happy with 17 grand, but
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, that's not a great statement. No one's really going to be crying if they did, if by those numbers that
It'd be
you
pretty
said.
jazzed.
they'll be
Yeah,
pretty. I mean, I'll be happy with a $17,000 payout, but I still want that 60. But
yes.
as Ryan asked, top qualifying time, I went over that. I'm guessing 10.3 to 10.5. Do you guys have any guesses or?
No, you should be in the tens. I mean,
Yeah,
I think. I mean, I think Scotty's one of the obviously fastest six guys up here, and all right, I think he could pull a little more out, and he probably will have to. And I know as an old guy, whew, that's a lot, but I think entirely capable if pushed. But yeah, you're looking at mid tens, and then a solid what stable 11s throughout the whole race. I mean low 11s.
mhm,
11-1, 10-9, 11,
yeah.
God only knows. Maybe there's some talented enough guys that can go quicker than that with the juice and the right bike from out of town. Well, I don't know. We'll see.
I know Michael Dunlop has reached out to John about racing it. So maybe would he have a better advantage with his street background, with how rough and gnarly that stuff is? He's used to walls. He's used to all that crazy shit. Will that help him compared to maybe
Suspension.
someone? Yeah, like it's
Yes, that will
something.
help him. That guy specifically because he's an Isle Man guy, right?
Mhm.
Okay, cool. But he's also used to Isle Man high speed.
Speed for
What are
sure.
you maxing out on a six at? Buck 45?
Buck 40.
Yeah, okay. And what's your turn one speed? 80 something? What's your dude? It's
True.
not that, but that certainly would help him. He'd be an advantage as he's numbed to his local riding and obstacles, if you will.
Yeah. Ryan says new track record. Yeah, of course. There's going to be a new track
I
record. There's
think
going to be
so.
a new. There's going to be a new overall track record at this point. If someone's going to get down under a 10.4, it's going to be a new overall track record. But
Well, that's not a new track record. We talk about track record, and I love it because we,
yeah,
track
Mladen's
record
9.
is your local stuff. In 2002, I believe the qualifying times were nines.
Yep.
So,
I
can
think
you do that?
Mladen did a 9.8.
Possible. That was on a super bike, I believe 750 type super bike back then when the rules weren't 1000 or a twin something. I think it was E-Boz that holds it. It was in 2002, I believe. I think it's around a 9 something. I mean, it was high 9. I can't even remember. But I do know that that's incredibly quick. To do that on a hopped up 6, I think it's possible with today's tires. That was 2002, 21 years ago. So when we talk about lap record, blah blah blah, go ahead and take that 21-year-old ZX7, get on it, and see what you can do.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna treat you to a set of new tires, today's technology, and see what you can do. That's impressive.
Yeah. So, and that people talk about I think Mladen did a 9.8. That's what they were talking about with the track record, quote unquote. And obviously, yeah, the bike was a lot worse. Tires were a lot worse. Yes, the track was newer, but still, I'd rather have a horrible track than have the technology they had.
You're saying, what the course is what it is, but you have now suspension technology advances, electronics advances, and tire technology advances, or that the electronics help you utilize that tire. Yeah, it's a different world, but your club record is your 10 whatever. Your true track motorcycle record is a 9.
Yeah.
From an
And
AM.
maybe we do see one, but that's going to be a qualifier. That's not going to happen in the race. That's for damn sure. If you're
Oh, yeah.
busting out a 9 in the race, then God bless you. You ain't. I know. I mean, Dunlop and Pirelli do have a qualifying tire to offer. because it's an open tire race. So, those guys might have a small advantage with their tires because, like people like me with Michelin, we don't have that super soft qualifying tire. We have a soft front. I have a soft front and a medium soft rear. It's not a soft; it's a medium soft. So, maybe that brings them a little bit more advantage, but still, that qualifying, as long as, the goal for me is qualifying the top with the least eighth place. So I'm 2D. But, anything worse than that, that's not going to help anyone. So, will that tire make that big of a difference? Probably yes, but it's open to see, will that tire, say someone's got maybe they're quote unquote that 1 second behind me. Will they really gain that 1 second from that tire? Because have you ran that qualifying tire before in the past, BG?
I've run qualifying tires, yes, but obviously back in the day for qualifying for the Superbike stuff was vastly different. But that's all about your manufacturer, what they offer, if it works for you, and money always helps. When you got money and you have money anyway to come here, I'm not worried about a tire. And if my prize and I'm capable of running up front, I'm gonna throw a tire at it every fucking time I go out there. What are you doing? You don't make money by sitting around or give yourself a chance. So yeah, be throwing tires at that thing like at speed. What are you doing? Whatever. Tire bills later. I'm hoping to pay for it and still have quite a bit left over. Would be
Yeah.
the dream of the majority of your with what you spoke of with the prize stuff. I think that should trickle right down to guys in the top 20 going, what are you doing? Yeah, I'm throwing a tire at it. I don't care. If I can get out there and finish 20th, I'm going to make whatever that number is. And you're like, yeah, that's more than my tire bill.
Yeah, so Ryan asked, how many qualifying sessions are there going to be? It seems like a clear lap is going to be hard. We don't know yet.
Divide it up.
They'll divide it up probably. What did they divide it up back then as like factory and privateer, or did they do it by numbers?
Jesus, as I recall, it was just a time, but I think they might have done it in 2 sessions, and they may have done that by just number. I'll have to look that up, Eli. That's a really good question. I don't recall. I remember just struggling to do what you could do to get into the show. Wow, okay, I got to do this, I got to do that, and a lot of just hoopla. Everybody's there. I'm pretty sure it was divided up, and they'll probably look at their entrance and see that and just say, hey, odd numbers, even numbers, because you can't put all of those guys trying to qualify. Right, we said 30 paying points. You're saying what? If you really did get 60 guys trying to qualify, you got to be at 108%. You certainly can't put them all out at the same time. So multiple qualifying sessions should occur. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely going to be a game of, you're going to have to run a lap, but I feel like a lot of the pro guys will try attaching onto a local. So then it's going to be the qualifying game.
Sure. Follow a guy.
Yeah. And that it comes to the part where, sure, at Moto America you can pull off on the side of the track, but Loudon is really tight where if you're blowing off into turn one, you have a chance where you could maybe get hit if you pull off at the wrong time. The best point you can really pull off is what, going down to the turn 6 on the left side.
You mean to get rid of someone that's following you, Eli? Is that
or to pull off to let people go by for a lap.
Yeah.
If you want to attach onto someone, some people, I'll go out at Moto America, I'll go out and do a slow lap. I can go on each side on the track, and I know for one part of the track, it'll be, okay, I can stay on the left side and I won't get hit. Where in Loudon, say you go on the left side of turn, like on the straightaway, there's a good chance that you're going to have to go cross track into turn 3 right where the braking zone is. So it's just this point where, will the qualifying games turn into crashes, or will people be smart enough to know what to do?
My guess is if you split them, the amount of guys that are on your course at the same time, you split that. That means there's a little more room, and if you give it ample time, Then for those guys who don't want to be followed or would like to protect, that's another part of the chess game. Would be able to just, I'm just going to lay up. So yeah, that's certainly something to think about. But divide it up, and I think you'll have enough room. People will be able to get out. And you wait. You go out and lay down a good lap. Come back in. See what's going on with your, your lap timer or whatever is broadcast with everybody else's, and then see whether you need to again. But yeah, that part of gamesmanship. It'll be game on for sure. How will you combat that? A Scotty G type guy, or yourself with local knowledge. Other guys that are local. How many really fast local guys you got? Okay, you've come up and gone really, really well. Scotty, really, really quick. Shane, really, really quick. Even
Eric Wood.
Okay, Woody, that's right. He's going to run a 6 this year.
848.
An 8.4. He's going to bring out an old 8.48. Wow, I love it. So yeah, he'll bring out his old hopped up 8.48. He's probably still got it. Great, the boy can ride, no question. But there's only that many to follow.
Yeah.
So maybe not as big of an issue as you think. Could be for other guys further down. I'm talking about the top guys. I guess any position you can get or steal any time and learn something can be learned even with a guy doing a 15. Saying, shit, man, I want in the show. Who's this guy here? He's pretty good. He's ahead of me. I should follow him.
Like Paul Duvall, Ian, they're in 13s. Ricky, he's still a solid 14, high 13 when he's on it. And Sweeney is in the 13s. So to get in, you have a decent, probably like 10. I will not local by the race, but local guys that can get in. Just no matter what with just their times in the past. So it's going to be a game, but Peapod, he asked, will there be Moto America Dunlop tires available allowed or standard tire issue? It's going to be an open tire race. Or are you talking about are we able to
America Dunlop or
are you talking about the vendors are going to be there, like the Moto America team, like the Moto America rig? Because quote unquote, there's a theory that the Moto America tires are different than the ones that we can get from Jesse, which may be true, maybe not.
The numbers of the ones that you got me that have a bunch of Moto America patches are the same numbers that get on the standard issued stuff. So I mean, I would assume the compounds are the same, but who knows?
Well, I've heard rumors of the Superbike teams,
tires, so I can't tell you that that's true.
I've heard Superbike teams. Well, I guess it's not different tires. They get newer tires. They get fresher tires. If you're a number one team like Attack Performance and you're on their Superbike team, you're going to get a lot different, and you're going to get newer tires than quote unquote say some random guy that shows up and races a 1000. So there's small theories like that, but also how will the MA guys compare fair with a standard issue tire versus MA Dunlop? Are they that different? So as we just said, no, there's not. I don't believe there's anything different. And also the tire compounds that they're running at Moto America, say the Superbike guys that want to race a 600 are going to be a lot different. They're going to be running a 190 compound instead of a 200.
Right.
Or 190 size instead of a 200.
Well, they have a new one coming out, don't they?
Yeah, the 190 70, or it's going to be a 65, one of the two.
Yeah, I think it's something like that. So they're working on that, but once again, available tires. It's black, it's round. Make it work for you where you can buy it, whether it be the smaller support truck of Jesse from Seacoast, Sports Cycle Dunlop, or it's Dunlop decides that they have enough riders to bring in some help. But I don't know how all that will work. But I do believe that the tires are the same, and what you said, being maybe a little fresher, they are specifically made for the Moto America series. Fine, maybe Jesse holds on to them a little longer, but in general, once it's got those compound numbers, that usually means that the recipe's the same.
It's that I saw a bunch of 0516s down there, 7455 medium fronts, all the same stuff, just has Moto America patches on it. So I don't know. I mean, maybe it's different, but I don't know why. I don't know why they would patch them the same. if
I
they
mean,
are.
I guess you can say there's different tires. Say the manufacturer. I mean, for Daytona, I've heard they've made different tires just for the track, just because obviously you're going a lot faster. You're going to be needing a harder compound for a lot longer race. But none of the Dunlop guys have been to Loud enough to get a developed tire just for the one track that we have.
No way.
So it's not like we're going to get anything crazy like that, like Daytona has. So it's going to be the same exact tire you get from Jesse as you do from Corey over at Dunlop.
I believe that's the case as well. But once again, you've got two truly strong brands that offer something that's capable of running the pace that we spoke of. You're going to run Michelin, correct?
Yep.
You're Stowe's boy. I'm proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure he is too. I'm happy that he has someone running his stuff. It's great. Um, and as you said, a bit of an Achilles heel for you is that you don't have a qualifying tire. Whatever, you have to make that work as best you can. And do they even you have a slick and everything, a Michelin, correct?
I just got a slick.
Okay, so I would hope that for you and for Michelin guys, I don't know how many there are anymore, and it's tire dominance wherever that may be. What's offered to you guys, whatever, it's still black and round, and you of all people know that by running it and being able to do quick times. Many people where, oh, you can't do that on a Michelin. This is a Dunlop track. Blah blah blah. I've heard it for years. It was a dominant Dunlop track, only because nobody else was running the others and trying to make them work. And now that stigma's a little bit gone, and you're part of that. By saying, what? Michelin's okay. I got it. It's black. It's round. It works. I have to make it work for my bike and me, but it's 100% capable. So is a Pirelli as well. So each you know competitor with his tire challenges will have them, whatever they may be. Availability of special stuff, who cares? It's just like fuel and motors, whatever. Go ahead. So I don't see that as much of an issue, whoever that caller was, let's call it.
Yep. And and that's the thing. I'm coming off. I have a smaller advantage just because I'm coming off of a DOT. I've been running a DOT all last year. I had a slick front. Don't get me wrong, which is perfect. The front's mainly a good to have a slick, but now I do have this European tire that's finally came over to America. We finally do have the tires that they're running over in Australian Supersport, World Supersport, not World Supersport, but a lot of the Aussie stuff and a lot of the European 600 classes. They do run them. So we have that data and technology. It's coming from the same factory as MotoGP tires. It's got the technology now. We're able to get our hands on it like we weren't able to before. So I did go and test the tires at Barber in the end of November, around that. So I will say they did make a lot of changes. The tires, the grip, there's just a good amount of grip. There's way more tire. There's more grip than the other one, but the thing that is big is that it lasts a lot longer. These things are going to last like crazy. I did say, I don't even know how many laps. Say 30 laps on a tire, the DOT I ran last year at Barber, and it tore the thing to shreds. On this thing, it barely made a mark on it after 30 laps.
So Loudon is not necessarily Barber's nice, beautiful paint. Doesn't necessarily shred tires nearly as much.
If you were successful at showing more wear at one place, it should apply.
Yeah, in theory, if it wears more, it's the same. It's the same track, same two different tires. So in theory, yes, it doesn't tear as much because we don't have that cold tear. We don't have. I mean, we do have a little bit of cold tear, but not as dramatic as going from 150 miles per hour back down to like 70 in the first few corners. So where it does get torn up, but I do believe that we do have a good solid base, which is awesome. And as I worked with Stowe over the summer, I've been very close with Stowe for years. He's just as he says, everyone just wants to be with the cool kids. It's just like racing is just like high school. You just want to be with all the cool kids are wearing. I want to wear those shoes. I want to wear because it works. Those kids are cool because they wear those shoes. Same thing. Oh, those guys are fast. They run Dunlops and Pirellis. They say they're the best. So it's always been like that. As you said, the stigma of Dunlop. It's a Dunlop track. Shane changed that when he went to Pirellis and started showing that you can win on the Pirellis. And I'm trying my hardest to make sure that possible this year on the Michelin. So I'm curious if maybe Bridgestone riders are going to show up. I know Continental's pulling out of the sport pretty much, but I don't really know. Yeah, what other tire brands really are there?
Well, I don't know. I don't know that's a. I don't know. They're black. They're round. Everyone run what you brung. As far as that goes, what will be available? There's no magic.
No.
There's no magic tire. They all have what they have, as you just stated, and so did I. To me, that's just part of racing. Any other questions from anybody over there?
I don't think so. I think we did pretty good, other than our first little mishap on my side. My bad. I think we had a first good little episode.
Well, that also depends on how many people and then the next time you do this, how you notify people of what you're doing that want to participate and ask questions of whomever you interview, because this is your thing. You want to have maybe a little organized, more state to say, hey, these are the things I want to discuss, and then and then obviously people can message in. You invited us to this, and then you get questions from people who are listening, I take it?
Yep. So
Okay.
I got there's 14, 15 people watching right now.
Okay, they got nothing to say apparently. All right.
Yeah, I mean we can open it up for the next 3 minutes to see if there's any questions. If anyone has any questions, you can ask them up, and if not, we can just end it up. But yeah, no, as I'm going further in the future, I have some people I have a freestyle rider that's from New England that wants to kind of join in and maybe get different point of view from his side of our sport. It's just of his side of what he does. Freestyle is a lot different than what we do. So it's just I'm trying to open it up. I got some woods racers that want to hop in, some AA guys, some moto guys. I just got a lot of people that are interested on trying to come in and kind of open up their point of their point of what they do for riding and how they got into it, and maybe their listeners that don't know what road racing is learns about what road racing is, and my listeners that don't know the backstory of FMX and what goes into it will learn. So I'm just trying to open up some doors, and I'm not looking to make this a full living, but I'm just trying to have some fun with it during the off season and maybe keep it going during the race season and do some live ones at the track.
Well, you should think about your format and think about organization of it, like you just spoke of about Netra guys or J-Day guys, AA, triple, whatever. Your title and what you want to discuss. Okay, I want to discuss specifically a dirt racing. Get out to that dirt community so that they know you're doing it as well. Your advertisement to all the people. Here is a road race based one. You're speaking with me, and Loudon NEMRR guys, great. But keep mindful of that and mindful of your objectives per each group you want to talk to, and that'll make it. And then your advertising. And try to get as many people as you can, obviously, to chime in and to be part of it to make it lively.
Yeah, and I have a question came in. Your favorite race of 2022 and why? That's a good question.
Adam, you're on, kid.
I would have to say it's got to be the one where I beat you, old man.
Yeah.
I think there was the one that I didn't beat you fair and square. I think I was just in front of you. Yeah, that was a superbike race, and it was I was in front of you at the red flag. That one I wasn't counting. I was counting that it was the Thunderbike one, which was end of the weekend. But yeah, that was cool. That was
And should
probably,
we add on least favorite too while we're at it?
Yeah, I don't know. Adam, what's your least favorite?
I'm trying to think of like something bad that happened.
What race challenged you the most this year? Like what made you not
In
one?
general, I would say GT. GT was frustrating this year. I should say GT was frustrating. The amount of lap traffic, it was just frustrating. I felt like I lost a lot of time because of things that were sometimes out of my control. But I don't know. It was GT can be very frustrating. So I think that was his favorite in general.
For me, I don't have a favorite. Not a one damn, not one of them. I mean, I enjoy competing. There wasn't one that I could say was better than the other. I enjoy beating my buddy Ricky, and I enjoy what he brings to the table. I enjoy what you've brought to the table as a young rider, both of you, right? So for me, there's no real favorite, and I don't really have a one that was terrible. Okay, blowing up one of my Ducatis, that's terrible, but that's all part of racing. Um, so I don't really have a more favorite or what. I like to compete, and when you do 6 a weekend, you're like, whatever. Some are better than others, but as long as you left your weekend going fast and you came out on top, if you could win, those are the best ones.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, probably it was probably not favorite, but most earned was probably the last dash of the year. Just all day with what happened and going on, and working on all my own stuff and making sure my bike is ready. Not having to do that before. Obviously, it makes me sound a little spoiled, but yeah, I am. But making sure my bike's good, doing everything, running 3 different bikes all day, and getting everything ready, and then finally coming out and kind of gives Scotty pretty much one of the hardest races he's had in a while. Definitely meant a lot for me. But least favorite probably, I mean, I wouldn't say least favorite. I mean, my biggest mistake of the year was probably the round 2 incident I had, and I still, I made that mistake, and then I paid for it by having a huge crash. So, and then I had my suspension.
That was your biggest mistake, not throwing away the championship at the end of the season to BG and GTL?
That was also a big mistake. Yeah, no, that was another mistake I made. Math didn't go well on my side, and that whole race was a lot went on in that race. We were pushing a really fast pace. That was a really good pace that race, and or at least from my side, I haven't been down that low in the motard all year, and everything. No excuses. Everything adding up in that morning, and everything going on. I messed up my math, and I learned from that, and I just got to race from green to checkered every time. So, and Mike Imbo says, do you think the club will become faster in general because the bike upgrades people will be making for the classic? So do you think the first 2 rounds, I mean, probably the last rounds of the year, but do you think people building their bikes for the classic and preparing like that will make the first 2 rounds and the rest of the year faster?
Nah, I don't think so. I think the guys who want to compete in the classic are going to do whatever they can do to make their stuff as good as it can be. Does that mean that's really 600 club? Okay, so if you're a 600 club rider, let's call it. Yeah, maybe they go a little bit quicker. Maybe they push a little bit harder because they want to be going better by the time the big race for the money comes in. But in general, as an overall, maybe a tiny bit. What, quarter second? I don't necessarily see that. You have your fast group of 600 guys, and they're doing what they do. Can they go a little bit quicker? Okay. And who asked this question? Are they 600 club guy? Are they lightweight guy? Are they
Mike Imbo.
who?
Mike Imbo, Ryan Imbo's dad.
Okay. He's a 600 guy, correct?
Nimbo,
He doesn't
no.
race. Or no, his son's a 400 guy.
Oh, okay. I To me, maybe a touch, not enough for anyone to notice. The guys will be working on what they're working on. Guys like Woody, right? He's going to be like, I got to get this old bike out. If that's really what he's using, he's going to be pushing it to get that thing up to speed, but he's always pushing it. Guy like Scotty's going to be quick. He's going to try to be in a little bit better shape, a little bit lighter. What from a competitive nature? What? Or maybe he's going to do nothing and say, "Bring it. I'm good. I got what I got. I can do what I do." You never know. Guys like Sweeney. Will he show up? Will he have some people helping him out so that he can? And he's much younger rider. He'll probably try hard as well, but you won't see him running the whole series. Maybe one weekend before. That's guy like Shane. Shane knows his way around the place. He could show up right only in with his old clapped out bike or whatever his dad can get underneath him and be ready to go and say, hey, is Pirelli going to pay my tires again? Sweet, let's go. Keep putting them on, and I'll see as fast as I can go, yourself included. Right? You can say, what is the tires I got? This is the bike I got. I'm going to push as hard as I can to make it go as quick as I can. Does that elevate overall race times for the whole club? Probably not.
Yeah. I know for sure that, next year I'm doing my goal before the Classic is to get down to the 10s. I want to break into the low 11s, high 10s before I get to the Classic. So that means round 2. Will it happen? If I put my mind to it, every time I put my mind to something, it's happened. So I want that. And, the 400 class, it's getting faster. The 400 class definitely stepped up last year. The year before, I was running away with 16s. And, now you have 3-4 kids that are running 16, 17s, and some kids knock on the door on the 17s. So, the club in that sense, in the 400 club, yeah, that's getting faster. Will it go a lot faster next year? 100%. If not everybody, I know I'm pushing myself to get into the low 15s on that thing next year. So it's just, maybe you have that one person that maybe pulls people with them, or, you have that one person that drops and leaves. So that's kind of what I would think what's going on. And it's hard to say because, the speed that's coming for the Classic, sure, you're going to have our local base, but we're going to be doing what we always do. The speed that's coming in is going to be, some of them are going to be fast, some of them might not. So that's going to be elevating us. Without that elevation and that additive of people coming, I don't think we want to push ourselves past that limit. I don't want to, on the 600, I don't want to push myself like I was pushing on that Motard. I want to push myself I want to ride that 85% and cross the finish line every race and not have to pay for the bills that happen when I crash the thing.
Well, it's the age old. The age old. If you've seen that movie, I believe is Ford versus Ferrari. Ford versus Ferrari, or whichever it was. Bale is the guy. He's talking about when they're developing it and they're racing it. He's like telling his son about the perfect lap, every point, every what. Now that's truly what you're always looking for. And if you continue to do that, then your lap time's lower to a plateau, whatever that may be, and maybe at that time you do hit that perfect lap. But that was a great movie and a depiction of racing and what it takes and the continued efforts to go faster.
Yeah, perfect lap. If you guys want to kind of do that real quick. Speaking of a perfect lap, what do you guys would say is a perfect lap at Loudon?
Depends on what you're riding. Right.
So we'll say for a lightweight bike like your 660, what would be a perfect lap?
Oh, I'd say probably, Jesus, with the standard horsepower that it makes, perfect lap would probably be about a 12.5.
Yeah. Ben's bike, not saying his bike was anything that made him that fast, but that extra horsepower he had definitely was.
Sure, it helps.
Helps a little bit. I could hear that thing go. I guess from what I was told, I didn't see any videos, but I was only pulling him 4 bike lengths on the straightaway.
Yeah, its bike is very capable. Of course,
that thing's quick.
But he still ripped it. I mean, he ran a 12.1, so still ripping.
He was out of every single lap, dude. We were watching up in like turn 11 area, and yeah, just coming out of 12, every single lap thing was just completely loose. It was awesome. It was cool to watch.
Yeah, watching him in the Classic, even this year when he was just starting to figure that thing out at the Loudon, dude, watching him out at 12 was gnarly. His line, it was gnarly, and he was just able to get on it before the bump and just wide open. I was like, all right, damn, good for him.
Coming unglued.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously on a smaller bike that you don't have to worry about that. Like, I mean, say like a Motard 400, 400 Motard you have to worry about every once in a while, but the 1000s you have the electronics to kind of keep you planted, and obviously you're going to be spinning up, but you're not going to be spinning out of control as long as you don't do anything crazy stupid. But that middleweight lightweight category, you don't really have to worry about. I mean, you do have to worry about that spinning up, kind of not having that electronics package unless your bike does have it. And I feel like the middleweight to lightweight bikes kind of take the most skill to ride.
I don't know.
If you're trying to get the perfect lap, they're all a challenge.
Oh, for sure.
For that
Yeah,
bike.
no, the perfect lap is, just getting your brake markers right, pushing them even further than you think. And, I wouldn't say, like, when I think about my perfect lap, or I could say my 14.2 on a Motard was probably a perfect lap. I don't think going faster than that is possible. But I don't really remember that lap. I remember it was kind of red mist mode when I was back in my red mist days. Yeah, no, that was all red mist. I don't remember that whole entire race other than being stuck under my bike. But
That's the one you're on your bike.
yeah, but I do remember everything was sliding, everything was pushing, everything was chattering. It was just a constant, no perfect lap is ever going to be smooth. It's going to be, I mean, it will look smooth, but it ain't going to feel it. So I think that could be it. That was probably the last question, and pushing a good time. And thank you guys for coming on. It was definitely a first good dip my toes in the water, have some great people on, and have us guide the way.
You're trying to do this fine.
Probably every Friday.
Yeah. Different on, see what you can do.
Yeah, trying to get it going through, and kind of next time I'll start writing down bases of questions. I want to go with the flow for this one, see what it would end up as, and I feel like it ended up really well. So next time I'll kind of start breaking down into questions and going from there, because it's going to be a lot different than us, because we can just talk about Loudon and I don't have to really think of questions. They kind of flow off.
Planning and structure. Yes.
Planning and structure.
Structure, what do you want, why, and advertising, and who you want to talk to, want to ask questions of these people, your double A dirt guys. Right? Maybe you even get a flat track one going for some flat track stuff. So if you're making it based around motorsports, yeah, get a pen and paper out and write down your thoughts. Think it out. It's nice.
I'll get my little noggin going.
It'll help you with just all of it, Who knows? Maybe end up getting some sponsors, bro.
Sponsor
Rhino Power.
All right, well.
Cool. Well, I'm going to end the stream real quick. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in, staying around. And let me go over here. And there we go. Thank you guys for tuning in. Subscribe, like the channel, turn on the bell notification so you know when I'm posting next. And I will see you guys next week.
Sick. Peace out.